So I had planned today to record a video on the topic of how to care the right amount about other people's judgments, which ultimately, I think ideally, is not that much at all. And I think it seems to me that the amount that you should care is only as much as it takes to be a good person. There's certain ways that you should care, or areas in which you should care about the opinions of others. But in a lot of the ways that we do care about other people's opinions, it ultimately isn't helping them, and it's only hurting us. And in fact, it's actually hurting our interactions with other people because we're unable to focus on what matters. But I want more time to think about that topic because I don't have all the answers for myself right now. And I mean, frankly, I don't with any topic, actually. But this one in particular, I was trying to write some notes for it, and I realized it's going to take a little bit of thinking because there's a lot of stuff for me personally that I need to think about, because it's something where I wouldn't want to give advice not knowing the answer myself. And of course, these videos aren't about giving professional advice or even good advice or advice at all. They're more about considering different ideas, but nonetheless, I felt as though it wasn't fully developed. And as a result, I wanted to wait a little bit and think about it more, because I think that if I could develop it a little bit more, it could be really helpful, at least for myself. And so what I wanted to talk about instead was something that I suppose just came up in my thinking a little bit at a later point in the day. And that was something that I had already really something that I had believed already, and something that is not my own thinking. I guess ultimately nothing really is just original when you really think about it, but this specifically isn't really my own consideration or anything, but I do find it very valuable, and that is that if you want to make a change in anything, what really helps more than changing habits, because changing habits is really hard. I think in order to change habits, and what really you should focus on, or at least it works for me to focus on, or I like the idea of it, is what can you change in your environment to allow you to be more likely to take on whatever habit that you want to, or change that you desire. Because in moments of decision making, there's only so much that decision is going to be impacted by what we'd like to do, and what we think would be best from a theoretical, or what we'd like to do in theory, from the perspective of, in theory, I'd like to do this. In reality, you do what you'd like to do always, and thus, if you don't do that thing, then you didn't, you can't say that you'd like to do it. But from the theoretical point of view, when you say you'd like to do something, there's only so much that you can consciously control in any moment to get yourself to act in the ways that you desire from that theoretical standpoint or perspective. And I think the way that you set up your environment in moments where you aren't directly making those decisions is crucial for being more likely to act in the way that you want yourself to. And thus, I really believe that if you want to make a change, don't ask yourself to be strong in moments of difficulty in order to make that change. Of course, you can ask that of yourself, but understand that more important than that is setting up your environment to be more likely to lead to success. And so, for example, right now for me, I am trying to eat more healthily, and this matters to me not even necessarily from a nutritional perspective, but I feel as though the way that I eat is just, of course, not great nutritionally, but even more importantly, more important to me right now at least, is the fact that the way that I eat, the unhealthy way that I eat, it causes a lot of disbalance because it's not all, but it's a lot of stuff that I only eat because I'm just enjoying it in the moment, and it just kind of throws off my day. And so I'd like to eat with less focus on indulgence, basically. And to do this, rather than asking myself to be strong, to hold strong in what I want to do in moments of difficulty, I should remove the difficulty by setting up an environment that is more likely to lead to me making the decisions that I'd like to, which basically means, just as an ideal example of what I would do, is I'd remove all of the things that I don't want to eat from my environment, and I'd set up some kind of system to make sure that getting the foods that I'd like to eat in those moments is simpler, and that way I can build the proper habits that I'd like. I won't be able to do that just for my particular situation. I won't be able to do that with absolute 100% control because I live with other people. I live with my family, and I haven't talked to them about also thinking about doing this themselves or anything. So for me, if I want to do this, I have to try to go about it in little ways, and I won't be able to perfectly set up my environment, perhaps, at least not at the moment. But regardless, the point that I think is important, just as a general concept, is setting up your environment so that you don't have to struggle with the change that you want to make or the behavior that you want to have. It becomes easier because you choose to do the right things in moments where you can properly make that choice, rather than waiting for it to be a test of willpower, which is much tougher. So this isn't an original idea or concept or anything, but I just thought that I wanted to emphasize it and also just make a video so that I can continue to practice this art, I guess. Maybe I shouldn't call it that. But yeah, so hopefully I will be able to write about that or think over that topic that I was talking about at the beginning, and really have some nice realizations and think about other topics as well. But for today, I hope that this made some sense, perhaps. So, yeah, see you next time.